Young people are facing unique challenges in the marketplace today. Let's talk about it on Today in Mortgages. Hey, what's up, Dreammakers? Welcome back to the show. We're talking about what's real, what's hype, and we should actually be paying attention to out there in the world of mortgage and real estate news. It's Today in Mortgage. And Rich, today we're talking about the youngsters.
Yeah, man, it's a hard go for them right now, but they're still getting it done.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about a few things, and we pulled this from an article that we saw on Housing Wire, and the title is "The Worst for Mortgages May Be Over." We'll talk about that too, but younger borrowers still face affordability challenges. So, first, this article came out the day before the CPI report. We obviously saw some market reaction to that. Maybe it settled down a little bit. We're going to be kind of dealing with consequences of that this week and moving forward. So the first part of that headline, the worst of mortgages may be over. Rich, what's your read on that? You think we're still past the worst?
Oh no. I mean, for those that have been in the industry, you know what the worst feels like, and we're through that.
Yeah.
Now, it's not like we're sailing on, in great weather.
Yeah.
It's still rough out there, and it's rough out there for especially the young buyers.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to get that out of the way that, obviously we're having some trouble out there still, but I think obviously the worst, like you said, we felt it really, really intensely last year, and it feels better now, even though there's still challenges. But let's talk about the young people. So we saw quarterly loan volume posting a year over year growth for the first time since Q1 of 2022. So we are past that worst, but there's a certain segment that's still struggling to get into homes. And Rich, kind of the reasons are obvious, right?
Sure.
Younger people have less money, home prices are higher right now. But what are some of the factors beyond that we're looking at?
But do they have less money? I mean, later, further down in this article, they talked about the average home buyer today is
Mm.
making 30% more in the last 3 years. The average combined income for borrowers, so if you have two borrowers, it's over $12,000. Now, clearly, you need to make that kind when the average sales price or loan amount is in the 350, 360 range. So, some are doing really well and keeping up and can still afford to buy homes, but others, a big chunk of younger buyers just can't, they just don't make enough money right now with the sales price where they are.
Yeah, and I think a part of it, and just kind of talking to people, is that obviously you have had less time to build equity in your first home to apply, or you've had less time to build up that down payment. So even though maybe your income's high, your cash reserves might not be as high as someone who's a little bit older than you. Rich, another thing is we like to spend, young people, I'm a millennial, like to spend money on things. I read an article yesterday that said millennials are obsessed with appearing wealthy. And so I think that plays itself out in maybe new cars and that kind of thing that detracts from being able to save up for that down payment on the first home, or maybe they have too many payments for other things that they're paying for. So, but we did see some interesting stats in here. Obviously, our year over year loan volume that I talked about is picking back up. We'll put some of these charts on the screen if you're watching this. But we got into positive territory year over year for the first time
Finally.
back at the end of Q4 in 2023. So that's great news.
Yeah, definitely great news because we were 65% year over year down in quarter four 2022, and that was tragic.
Yeah.
So here we are. If you look at this chart, hopefully you'll show this chart, but it shows like the major climb over the last 18 months, which of course I'm happy to see.
Most definitely. And we're also seeing kind of climbs back to normal in the average loan amounts, which is good news too, because we got higher volume and better loan amounts. So just more money coming in overall. Tell me about this stat we see down here on the age breakdown of borrowers.
That's great. I mean, I look at this and, we talk about how hard it is for young buyers. There's still a large percentage of all buyers. So from age 24 to age 44, you've got over 53%. Those are the buyers. That age range, those are the buyers today. So, the millennials they've always been getting pummeled, right? They don't work hard, they're lazy, they're blah, 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 they spend too much money. That's not the case in a lot of situations. And what a difference a 20-year generation makes. Look at the Gen Zs. That kind of stuff is just not important to them right now. Like they're not trying to keep up with the Joneses and wear all the nice sneakers. And it's just crazy what 20 years difference makes in our generations, because it's crazy. The Gen Zs are getting after it. They're saving their money. They're buying when they feel it's right and they can. They're not going to stretch themselves to do so. Where millennials are still like their parents, where they were like, well, they were homeowners at 22 and, we got to be the same thing. Well, that's the Gen Z is not the same. So just nice to see all of these buyers. 53% of all buyers today are ages 25 to 44.
Yeah, talking about that generation difference. I mean, also, I think a lot of us millennials kind of came into the workforce post 2008, and it was tough. And there was talk at the beginning of COVID that, like, oh, now Gen Z's coming into this, possible recession era. But a lot of them came in and were instantly able to change jobs a lot and have higher paying starting salaries than ever before. And so I think the combination of those couple of things were they maybe have higher incomes to start out. They're less worried about, all the expensive things that they want to do right now. Granted, I think they spend money on travel and that kind of things and experiences, but a lot of them living at home, saving money that way. I think in the next several years, we're going to have some pretty strong Generation Z home buyers, first time home buyers coming into the market.
Over 70 million over the next 5 years.
Right. And so that's what we kind of talk about here, and just being out and making sure that we are appealing to that younger generation. If you're an older loan officer, making sure you have connections with younger real estate agents, getting out there and doing some of the, social media things that we might not be comfortable with. So, Rich, how are we talking to our people this year about that market?
We're encouraging them. What they say is some of these young buyers, 85% of them have their mind made up before they pick up the phone call on who to work with. And they do that because they do follow people. They see people, especially loan officers and real estate agents, out there educating people, giving them the tools they need to be able to do the research online for themselves and to kind of have a baseline understanding of what's happening. And so if they're following their favorite loan officer that might be funny and witty and still educates and keeps things positive, those are the people they gravitate towards. So I'm encouraging my people forever. Like, we're doing this video, we do lots of other video. We do that for the same reason we are promoting that, to have our people do it. They have to get out in front of this. The younger buyers get their information from socials. So if you're not on there, don't expect them to stumble on you. It's just not going to happen.
I'm going to throw this up on the screen one more time, Rich, because like you said, it is such a striking number. Over 50% of buyers are going to be in those younger generations over the next several years. And if you're a loan officer out there and you've kind of had your circle of business and contacts and they're all over a certain age, you're going to miss out on a ton of potential. So if you're not on the socials, like Rich just talked about, you need to be doing that, but also be putting yourselves in situations where you're going to be around younger first-time home buyers. You can't really count on your circle of contacts that are in their, long-term home, because they're not going to do more transactions. And maybe you need to meet younger real estate agents, or just be in front of people in some way, some fashion, to find new business, because there is a lot of new business to be had coming up. So, Rich, that's what we're talking about here at the network. Again, we're part of the best network in mortgages, network funding. Rich, our vice president, leads the pack in educating and pushing our people every day with excellent resources to be able to go out there and win in a tough marketplace. So if you're interested in learning more about that, click the Grow link below. We'll get you connected with all the resources that you need to learn about the best network in mortgages. So Rich, any other thoughts on what we're looking at today?
Well, not really about what we're looking at today. This is just a little bit more of what we've been talking about over and over the last, year. Things are improving. Things are, getting better, especially for younger borrowers. And, the other thing that I'd like to mention to the people that are looking, especially if they're in the industry, we're in a period of contraction in the mortgage industry. A lot of larger companies are merging with other larger companies, and you lose culture. You lose what you love about your current company. And the one thing I'm super proud of about network funding is just our culture, our ability to make sure everybody is heard and listened to. And That's something you lose as your company gets bigger. And we just like our little niche full of pros. If you're a professional in this industry, you don't need, every single tiny tool and support, even though you have it here. If you just want to say and to be heard and work for a great company with a great culture, network funding is a place to be.
Awesome. Yeah. And so we're talking about this today. I think we have a follow-up episode on Tuesday where we're going to be talking about some other things that are happening in the marketplace with older generations. So be looking forward to that. Click like, subscribe, share this if you found it valuable. And until next time, we'll see you on Today in Mortgages. Mortgages is produced by Network Funding LP, which is an equal housing lender, NMLS 2297. The content of this program is meant to be a commentary on mortgage and real estate news, and any discussion of rates and/or products should not be taken as an individual mortgage or home buying advice or pricing estimates. And any commentary on this show should not be considered a promise to make a loan. All applicants for a loan must qualify, and you should consult a professional regarding your individual loan scenarios for your financial situation. Visit our website at nflp.com/licenses for all state licensing and other legal information.